Okay, we're on there. So, a couple of things I want to share here. First from Tsuria, which I don't know why we didn't look up previously, but it would have been a good idea. Better late than never, right? So, on the city of Zugos, he has several points here. Some of them which we said and some of them which we didn't say. The first one is that it's an interesting idea from Rabbi Abraham ben Rambam that the reason why Zugos were introduced was in order to cancel the belief which people had in duality. In other words, the popular religion, one of the popular religions at the time is Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism believes in two gods, God of good and God of evil, to this very day. So therefore, just like the Christians had the belief in a Trinity, they had belief in the trilogy. So Chazal wanted people to avoid Zugos, so therefore they called Zugos bad luck. It's like the Meiri in the sense that there is nothing like the Zugos, but the Meiri says that they had to play along. We say no, it was a way in which to distance them from Avodah Zarah. Okay. Then he says that brings them to Olos Ephraim. The reason why Zugos is a problem is because from the second day of creation was when things started to change physically. The creation, at first there was light and darkness, there was not a physical change. Things changed physically on the second day. Okay. The Maharsha says that Zugos are bad because they're the power of twos, in other words, again, dualities, and all twos, and every second thing is bad, because it represents the duality. And there it doesn't say Ki Tov on Monday in the Sheshin of Rishon, only says Ki Tov on Tuesday twice. Also, Gehenna is created on the second day. And all days that are not even represent unity. But days that are even, like Monday and Wednesday, are problematic. And Wednesday, the moon was diminished, and therefore the Mazikin have free reign on Wednesday nights, also on Friday nights. So that's why Chazal say not to walk out on Wednesday nights and Friday nights. It says Geshalim Be'itom, or when it rains on Wednesday night and Friday night, because that's the time when the people shouldn't leave their houses because of the Mazikin. The Ben Yoda says that you should not be Choshish nor day and age to Zugos, and certainly not in Eretz Yisrael. And this, in fact, the Gemara says, and it seems that is an eternal thing. Okay. Now, so as 10 kosos don't have the concept of Zugos because the Maharsha says because 10 no longer has individual units, and therefore it's the power of unity, one entity. When Chazal say, called the copied badei, anybody who cares, they care about him, so to speak. So the Chidah says that the Amoraim said this in order to encourage people not to be makbir. They want people to stop worrying about Zugos. It's kind of like an eerie. So that stop worrying about it, therefore called copied badei, called low copied badei. So here's a fascinating quote from the Torah Tzmima in Bamidbar Chav Gimel. It says, anybody who's involved in superstition and sees in everything something superstitious, the superstition pursues it. Because the nature of man is like that. Whenever he immerses his mind in a specific idea and believes it, that idea runs after him and disturbs him in all of his pathways, of his deeds, and all of his thoughts. Okay, and with this way you can explain what it says in the Doron Lamed Beis, called the Kapi. Nachesh lo nachash. Anybody who's superstitious, the superstition comes to befall him. So this is saying that there's a psychological issue here with which one cooks one's own goose by believing in superstition. Then he brings down here, because we call the kapi kapi badei and lo kapi lo kapi badei, the Chazim Sefer Igros Moshe wrote, right, there's a general principle, there's no requirement to be concerned with the tzabar of Yudah Chosim. Now, even still, lots of people are, but those things which people were makbid, they're makbid. Those things people are not makbid, one should not be makbid. Okay? Now, in the Ein Yaakov I saw, bring up here on the screen for me. So this is the Ein Yaakov, and this relates to the Gra, which you showed me. I'll come to in a minute. He says that the Zib, why is a couple of a male and female not considered to be a problem of Zugos? Okay? So it says because the two of them together comprise one body, because each one is just half a body. So, and furthermore, there's an alternative, which is that the Gemara in Sotah says that Zachu Ish V'Isha Shchina Shrei B'neihem. So therefore it becomes a threesome. On the contrary, it says Lo Zachu Eish Ochla. They're not married, then becomes back to being two, and becomes two. So then twosome. So then, in fact, according to the second shot, that could be a problem with Zugos. So you don't include that. According to the first shot, they're one anyway. For the second shot, no, they're really two. But if they involve Hashem, then it becomes three. If they don't involve Hashem, it remains two, and that's problematic. So that's why if there's a Kodesh Baruch Hu there, Zachu Ish V'Isha Shchina Shrei B'neihem, and therefore the zibug is appropriate. If Lo Zachu, then the zibug is not appropriate because Zugos. So in fact, one could say that the core source of Zugos is this notion of when you have something without Kodesh Baruch Hu's presence. It represents two without Hashem. So you show me a gra about this next Gemara. Where it says, so it's on Kuf Yud. Let's start from Amr Yosef. Right? Amr Yosef Shida. Ashmedoi, Malka the Shedim, Memuna who Akul Zuge. Ashmedoi is appointed on all the Shedim. Malka lo ikre mazik. So a king is not a mazik. Ikadarme, some say no. La'agisa adra malka raschanai. My boy Ovid, a melech has a temper, whatever he wants he does. Shemelch preitzlav ger lasus lo derech. A king can burst open the way to make himself a derech. They mochim biyada, nobody can protest against it. Amar Papa, Amar Yosef Shida, betray Kathleen with the problem of Zugos of two, then somebody gets killed. Barba lo Kathleen, Barba maskina. With four, you only get damaged. Betray. Now this makes sense according to what we said before for Rabbi Avram ben Rambam, that it's the Emunah Zugos which I'm particularly trying to avoid. So four is not so bad, because four doesn't remind one of the duality as much. The further you get from two, the lesser the problem. Two is the classical problem. Okay. Betray ben Mishal, amazing barba ben amazing in Mishal, only ben amazing, not Mishal. The Ichulegi, if a person forgets, be crave enough, and it goes out after Zugos. So my takanti, what you do, Likud Zki is God for the Zakva the Yode. The Amina should put his right thumb beyond the small his left hand, V'zak with the small and his left arm beyond the yamina. And they can say like this: Atun bana ha klasa. So what did the Gemara say about that? What you say?
Oh, well, I'm still not sure who's the three. Who's the three?
I don't know. But you didn't check up with something. Sent it to me on. Okay, so the Elio, that's the Gemara, explains that the nezek of Zugos comes because don't have a hint to Achdus Hashem. Achdus Hashem is represented either by 1 or 3. And therefore you put your right into your left into your right, that this shows Achdus. It's the unity of HaKadosh Baruch Hu with the world was not manifest by you, because you only had 2 Zugos. 3 is not Zugos because it represents the unity of the world with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we go like this. So then you're demonstrating that everything is connected in this world. That's basically what I understood, what I understand the Gemara to be saying. The other possibility, of course, is to say that it's actually making and I don't remember he says past, but according to the Rebbe Avraham and Rambam, that the issue is to prevent belief in duality. So then going like this eliminates duality. It eliminates the two-ness, which is represented by the 2 hands, by binding them together. So binding together represents taking everything and unifying it. And it could be, I don't know if that's what Gemara means. Could be that's what it means. Yeah, Lamar Shekul, yeah. Shechiber, Tiknu Shechiber, mean with small, Lamar She mean Hatrei, Nasechad. To say that from the 2 came the 1. Okay, so actually it's not 3. Last time we learned this, I kept trying to figure out how it's 3. It's not. It's unity. But that's nice, but it doesn't fit into the Gemara. Because the Gemara says, so Atun means you in the plural. So evidently he's speaking to the shade and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I don't know what else to make it out. I don't know what else to make it out. Yeah, but he's part of it. Okay? So it's the way I learned in the past, Atunas means he's talking to his thumbs. Right? He's saying, you, 2 of you and me were 3. But it's mashma here that it seems from what the Gemara is saying that he's only that Atun means the shade, and it's either the shade and Hashem and me, but more likely it's the shade and my unity here and me. And the symbol of unity is like the 3. Okay, so so Ishmael the Amar Atun Bano Harbah. Shade up the state said we're 4. Namely Atun Bano Chamisha, we're now 5. Ishmael the Amar Atun Bano Hashisa says we're 6. Namely Atun Bano Hashiva. Avuvdad Mea, they got to Lechad, they got to 101. Upakashita and the shade first. Now we know that Eino Dharma Shana Pirko Mea Payim Mishishana Pirko Mea Echad Pami. 101 is a special koach over 100. And if you want, the Rabban Sobechik says, and I don't really subscribe to this idea, but I'm saying over because it fits in here to a certain extent. He says Shedim are bacteria. Ever that before?
No.
Shedim are bacteria and germs in general. That's what Shedim are. And they surround a person and they're all over the place. If you want to see them, you need special magnification, which somehow comes from the black cat.
King of the bacteria.
What?
King of the bacteria.
King of bacteria, yeah. So the king of bacteria might be Mr. Ebola. There's all sorts of possibilities. Explain that. So so if you say that, you say the point is like this. You say it's something like bacteria, then this makes sense. That at some point, the shade explodes, meaning that if you get to a level where you are go beyond the measure of law, you go up to 100, 101, then pakashita, then all things which can wreak havoc against you cannot wreak havoc against you, because we know that the Rambam holds that the greater you are, the more hashgacha pratis you have. Right? There's certainly according to the Chomas Habavos, the greater you are in tzidkus, not the greater you are in intellect. So the greater you are in tzidkus, here, as you say, you reach the whole new level of tzidkus, and therefore you're worthy of hashgacha. And this hashgacha prevents you from all sorts of negative things, including bacterial infection, because Hashem is constantly involved with you to see what you should get and not get up he did. Okay? How wild is that? Pretty wild, right?
So, Shedim are bacteria, then the
Yeah.
Rambam and the Meiri don't believe in bacteria.
They know about them. They know about them. We've spoken about them, although maybe the Rebbe knew about them, but it was around back then. Let's see if we can find that. Hey, look at this. This is fascinating. A second here. The jinn, or genies, right, are supernatural creatures in early pre-Islamic Persian and later Islamic mythology and theology. Besides jinn, the Islam acknowledges the existence of the demons, shayatin. Their interesting demons and jinn are blurred, since malevolent jinn are also called shayatin. However, both Islam and non-Islamic scholarship generally distinguishes between angels, jinn, and demons as three different types of spiritual entities. The jinn are distinguished from demons that they can be both evil and good, while genuine demons are exclusively evil. Okay, so then listen. Modern era. Affirmation on the existence of jinn as sapient creatures living along with humans is still widespread in Middle Eastern work, and mental illnesses are often attributed to jinn possession. However, some modernist commentators, on the basis of the word's meaning, reinterpreted references to jinn as microorganisms, such as bacteria and viruses, or undetectable, uncivilized persons. So you see, lahavdil, that in contemporary Islam, also there's this notion of connecting Shedim with jinns, Shedim, because it sounds like the jinns are their jinn are Shedim, that are Shedim, the linking Shedim with bacteria. That's pretty interesting that they have that too. There's actual here it is. So okay. This is about the Gemara in Brachas, the first chapter about seeing the Shedim. The Gemara describes shames and demons which are invisible but are numbered in the thousands on our right and to our left and cause many types of bodily harm. How can a person knowledgeable in modern science understand these stories? Rav Aaron Soloveitchik provides an answer in his book Logic of the Heart, Logic of the Mind, pages 50 to 52. He explains that these invisible demons are germs. Once one understands the basic point, the wisdom of Gemara becomes readily apparent. How can rabbis before the ages of microscopes and modern medicine explain microscopic creatures that cause us harm? They describe them as invisible demons, numbering in the thousands, who if we can only see them would make us go crazy. Imagine we could see thousands of germs around us at all time. I think we would go crazy. They advise us because these demons to wash our hands 3 times when we wake up in the morning. Sound medical advice indeed. Furthermore, Rav Aaron Soloveitchik explains that at times the shame not refer to germs and other forms of invisible destructive forces in our world, like mental illness, hallucination, and the like. Common knowledge, the descriptions rather than portray our sages as backwards, superstitious people, they unlock the brilliant insight that our rabbis are providing. Okay, so wherever he can, he'll say there's germs or bacteria. Where he can't, he'll say it's some sort of other malevolent human condition. Okay, so between him and more traditional sources, the difference would be whether Shedim cause malevolent phenomena, whether or whether malevolent phenomena are in fact described as Shedim. In other words, a demon is the cause, or a demon's the description for these forces. Okay, so what do you think about bacteria and worms and viruses as demons?
Interesting. I don't know how you can read that into all the Gemaras.
I don't either, but it will infer a tremendous amount of prior knowledge of science by Chazal, which I believe the Rabbi held that Chazal did have science. Okay. Amar Meimer. Amar Li Rishtina the Nashim Kashvanios. So Rishtina was like the head of the Nashim the Machshefos. Said, "Hi man, the Bugaboo and the Nashim Kashvanios name Hachi." He said like this: "Chamir b'dikula. There's hot water in the basket. Bazi Lupumaychu made it split the lips. Nashi the Karshayim. The magicians. Karash is like a magician. Karach karchayu karchaychi parach parchaychi. May your hair be torn out of your head, and may the little pieces of bread which you use for a kishu be scattered by the winds. So in the thing that you showed me, unfortunately, a Talmud. I looked at the next line. Find it. Yeah, it says Perush. Yiratzo sheyimratu osan saros. May they ripped out those hairs. Shalachim Shalachen of yours, Shem Aten Mechashvos, which you use to wreak your witchcraft. And that spirit should take away the crumbs of bread that you're mechashiv with. So he brings it from the rivash, it's cut off. But that these things do not actually perform witchcraft, but use them for shvuos and for incantations. I'm not really sure what I'm reading here. I don't know if I get anything by that. Well, he said the Rashi makes it very blunt. It's more than I said. Chamibi di kula, he says, means hot excrement. So achama b'salim kruyim nekuvim, hot excrement in rip and holy HOLEY baskets. Who was judged in excrement? To be punished by excrement? One of the figures associated with Jesus, right? Titus, in Hagittin, Titus his ashes are collected and burnt in it every day. Bilam is being boiled in hot semen. Jesus is being boiled in hot excrement. And Rashi says that's the punishment of somebody who scoffs at the words of the rabbis.
And we know that
we don't know for sure it's Jesus, but that's the assumption. That might be, it's not, but that's the assumption. So it could be there's a similar thing. In other words, the women are making a mockery of Hashem's control of the world. They're performing miraculous deeds in a negative way. So therefore, the way to overcome them is to demonstrate that they are just like excrement, right? Like excrement because they don't follow the rules they're supposed to follow. Okay, just like some of you Max Chachamim, he undermines their rule. So too, these women undermine the rule of where HaKadosh Baruch Hu rules the world, and therefore we throw the hot excrement to them. Okay, to the mouths of the Nashi the Charashaya of the women who are spinning their spells. Karakachaichi, may you go lose those hairs. Paraparchaichi, and may the bread which you carry to make your spells be scattered away. Ivdur, Tavlunaichi, may your herbs be scattered. Parcha zika l'marika charita, may wind come and destroy all the new saffron which you have. So that these witches have. He says here. I'm sorry. It goes on. Adchanani v'chananchi lo asisi go. Hash asisi go karchanani v'chanchanani. Okay, because Baruch Hu basically had mercy, didn't bring me to this point. But now since I brought this to this point, I know point me to this point, I must have fallen out of favor with him. Um, I don't see any late explanations. You don't see if there's any Yaakov on this. Nope. So the Parshas to me is like this. It's based in Nefesh Chaim. That as long as a person has a focus on HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we know to Eino Milvado, so then nothing wrong can happen to him. So he's saying the reason why Cutting Brad is coming as happening to me is because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, at Chaim, a grace of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I did not use it properly. Right? And therefore, like Rashi says, so Rashbam actually says the same idea. Gam Rachamin Iskaru Shelo Chasti Latzmi. Actually, the Rashi says that when it says that Rashi says he lost the chesed of Shamayim, and the grace of heaven, and the Rashbam says he loses the grace of these people here. But the Parshas goes the grace of Shamayim, and like if he had been focused on Eino Milvado, which is the proper response to Chaim from Shamayim, then nothing like this would have been fallen. So now he's committing himself to focus on Shamayim, and nothing bad will befall him as a result. And this really goes back to that's what Gemara says in Chulin. It's the antidote for which is to focus on Eino Milvado. You with me on that?
Yeah. Said it before.
What?
No, this idea from the Nefesh.
Yeah, I know I said before. But not in this context. So we said there's a form on Eretzul or Makri and Zugos. I think my dog copy Apila Rushmal Chavisa. He was Makri even on the impression made on wine. They used to make marks on wine to indicate like code, like a scan code, like barcode, indicate what kind of wine it was. There's Makri there shouldn't like an even number of marks. Abu Uvda, there was a case, the Paka Chavisa, where the barrel burst. So evidently wine causes people to forget about Kodesh Baruch Hu, right? So therefore, when you do things in Zugos connected with wine, it's as if you were forgetting about Hashem and focusing on his dualities. I don't like so much I'm saying, but it's question is why Radim and Ardo actually was makbid. What brought him to be makbid? We know that you're not supposed to be makbid. The Gemara then says, immediately afterwards, called the milsa, called the kapi badei. Anybody cares? We care about him, with him. Lo kapi badei. Boy, but you should be careful. It's a little bit about against the Rabbi from Rambam, but kind of explains the Torah to me. So just be a little bit careful because don't make it a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because then you're going to sign your own death warrant. Okay? I don't think he has anything like that either. No, he doesn't have anything. Okay, we'll stop here for today because I'm falling asleep. And it is 11 o'clock. Oh.